Yeah, this is very connected to what Andrew is saying. There's a real history of um, Eastern spiritualities in general. You know, it's sort of a historical study we'd have to undertake, historical and anthropological, but of entering in the moment of the 60s, you know, and there was a psychedelic movement. And then currently we're in a biopolitical era, and the administering to the body in various ways, and the medical model, sociological model. It's a pretty complex world. Like, who needs Buddhism? Like, what we are as modern beings is already so complex and far from any tradition or notion of the self. That said, as a kind of general backdrop, that would have to be sort of studied. um, I think it tends not to be studied because, I don't know, the 60s movement and so on, the political movements, these don't tend to be studied by anthropologists, right? But I feel it kind of merits an anthropological method. So we'll see. Beyond that, your question about drugs, I'll just say a little bit about, because I don't actually know very much. But definitely people, you know, we could say in the 60s, there's people like Carlos Castaneda, and there's, what's his name in Berkeley, big acid trip guy. I can't think of the name right now, but, you know, there are a lot of figures
Leary?
who have, yes, thank you, Leary, who have actually, or, you know, even contemporary among, I don't know, no, I shouldn't be glib, but I mean, there are many international interest in things like ayahuasca, or there are, you know, among other kinds of, not related to this, other communities, regularization of use of hormones. There's a lot of different ways in which we relate through various material substances, and I think it's really one of the interesting places that's challenging. It's not really metadata so much as, I think it's actually the question of these very substances that raise the question of the self and of what we are. So think before you act. This is never going to happen. Give that one up. So we can call it, it's sometimes called the attentional blink. I think you all know this. This is a very well-known study where, you know, in a huge auditorium with like hundreds of people, they're giving a talk. And I think there's someone's, it involves a basketball. I can't remember exactly how it goes. But anyway, at one point in this big public forum with many, many people, a man in a gorilla suit just runs across the stage, and nobody sees him. Nobody sees him because attention is not continuous, right? There's this little blink when, if you think you're doing something, if you think you're looking at a certain event happening and processing that, it's actually possible for something as visible as a man in a gorilla suit to cross your optical field of vision and not actually be seen. So these are two pretty common reference points, I think, for how non-conscious cognition works. So it's important to note that top-down access can limit the bottom-up strength. So although this is really powerful, all of this, right? All of this stuff, the sensory, the intuitive, as powerful as that is, there is a, and although the imperialistic higher consciousness may in some ways be a bit of an illusion, in the sense that it isn't what it thinks it is, it's something else, it does have the power to limit access in a top-down manner. It can exert this effect.